Hello, welcome back to my channel. There has been so much news about Yoongi and his supposed DUI, driving under influence, but driving not a car, but electric keyboard with a seat. So we've seen so many different reports out there, whether they're true or not. We've seen a lot of reports out there, and we have seen the fake video of someone riding a electric scooter down the street, very blurred. Everybody is saying that it's Yoongi because for some reason a supposedly very reputable Korean TV station released that footage without doing a due diligence of fact check. But regardless what it is, the new video came out, and I'm sure that all of you have seen that. I have. There are, again, many videos out there. I'm not going to go through every single one of them. But today I was going on the internet and I saw this video about how a reporter blackmailed Suga from Asian entertainment culture. Now, that I would need to figure out what's going on. So without further ado, let's check that one out.
A reporter from 10 Asia. The name is Choi.
Wait, let me see if I can turn on closed caption. Okay. Sorry, let's start over again. And thank you, Asian Entertainment and Culture, for bringing us additional information. Now, I have not heard about any blackmail situation, so we will find out what's going on.
A reporter from 10 Asia. The name is Choi Ji-ye. Insists that Suga submits to a photo line and said in an article, and I quote, "If a person avoids or ostracizes reporters, as in the previous case of singer Kim Ho-jung, it is highly likely that doubts will be raised about the sincerity of the person's reflection." In other words, if he doesn't do the photo line, if he doesn't do what they want, they will forever cast a doubt on his sincerity. Now, let me just backtrack a little bit. Photo line is when the celebrity or person...
I was trying to figure out what's photo line. Okay, sorry.
Has a doubt on his sincerity. Now, let me just backtrack a little bit. Photo line is when the celebrity or personality goes to the police for questioning. They stand in front of the reporters and they answer questions, and then the reporters will take pictures. Now, usually, historically, what these reporters would usually do and these publications would usually do is they would repeatedly use the pictures whenever they feature or talk about the celebrity, even if the subject of what they're talking about is not really...
Huh. Okay. Photo line. Okay.
The case anymore. That is in an effort to forever smear the name of the person. This reporter is also claiming that the biggest issue is that Big Hit tried to minimize the incident by calling the scooter a kickboard. Just to be clear, the police report initially also said kickboard, but the police is not being asked to apologize, just Big Hit or Suga. Now, some people on Twitter...
Okay, I think there's something going on with... I don't know. I don't want to throw things out there, anything that's baseless. It's my observation that people in Korea tend to be a bit more intimidated by the officials, the police, the government officials, but they are less intimidated by artists or the agencies. So they feel comfortable demanding stuff from the artist or the agencies, but they're less inclined to demand stuff from the officials. In this situation, the police, even though they all say keyboard, but it's okay if the police say it, but it's not okay if Suga and he say that, because that was a big fat lie in their mind. So anyway,
Twitter are calling this blackmail. At the very least, I call this unethical communication. Yes. I don't even call it journalism because it's such an insult to the profession of journalism.
I agree. I'm sorry I keep pausing, because if you are a journalist, a reporter, I'm not a journalist, I'm not a reporter, but my understanding is that you gotta make sure whatever you report, you have fact checked those things that you have reported, right? So it's not like, oh, you heard hearsay and then you start reporting it without even checking whether the source is, what is it called? I'm lost for word. If the source is authentic or the source is authoritative or even true. whatever.
This has no amount of objectivity, no, not an ounce of intelligence. This is just outright stupidity, greed, and
entitlement. Yes.
And I hope that 10 Asia will not follow the footsteps of JTBC, who have continuously been irresponsible. And that is the next point that I will be talking about before we talk about Min Hee-jin.
We're going to talk about Min Hee-jin too. I have not followed, well, I take it back. I kind of I watch video here, video there, but I have not dived deep into the Min Hee-jin situation since how many months ago. So I'm just waiting for more solid or authoritative news to come out instead of just following whatever's on social media.
JTBC aired and distributed a video they claim to be of Suga driving on the road very, very fast on a scooter. Later on, it was proven that that person in the video isn't Suga. JTBC apologized for it. Too late. The truth is that this is not the first time it has happened. Back in 2019, they aired a lie. They made up a story claiming that Big Hit is going to get sued by BTS.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, I knew about this one and I thought it was settled, but apparently that whoever the reporters say that they were, the BTS member was suing and the family was suing Big Hit. At the end, the reporter actually broke into Big Hit or Hype Entertainment office and obtained illegal documentation, something like that. I don't remember exactly what happened, but that's how I recall. It's from the same freaking station?
They claimed that
everybody need to get fired.
They got the story and the information from an insider and actually broke into the office of Big Hit and shot a video while they were there illegally. Big Hit denied that there is any kind of rift between them and BTS denied that they were going to sue. Big Hit, in fact, they renewed their contract early. They did it twice. On the second time, the contract was so monumental that Bang Si-hyuk had to get the approval of the board. They didn't. Now, JTBC said that they got a tip from somebody in Gangnam, a law firm, who told them that BTS was setting up an appointment with a lawyer, and they concluded that it must be because they were going to sue Big Hit. It didn't cross their mind that by then BTS already knew what they were doing, the ins and outs in the industry, and wanted to make sure that if they renew the contract, they were going to it was going to be a contract they were comfortable with. They were getting what they think they deserve. It was so beyond their comprehension that they immediately assumed it was a lawsuit. At this stage, I will be surprised if people continue to believe them, if they don't get sanctioned, if they don't get fined, and if they stay on air, because this is just very low. This is not just unethical journalism, but downright bad. This is just a lie, and they're pulling down the reputation of journalism and Korean media in general together.
It's whatever they're doing is disrespectful for all the good reporters out there. It's smearing the good name of good reporters.
With that 10 Asia reporter, Choi Jae.
Yeah,
I hope that they get disciplinary action and that they stop branding themselves journalists, because that's not what they're doing. Now, all the attention being paid into this issue is taking away the attention from a bigger issue, and this is the issue of Min Hee-jin and the former employee of Ador. This is the employee that filed a sexual harassment case against the executive of Ador. The former Ador employee who accused the executive of sexual harassment aired her...
It wasn't sexual harassment? Okay. So they're just blowing this out of proportion to cover up for other things that they don't want people to know.
Side of the story through her Instagram. She also...
Well, by the way, this is not new, okay? I'm sorry I keep pausing, but this kind of thing, blowing something out of proportion to cover something else, it's a very common tactic, in my opinion, across the globe. It happens here in the US. We've seen it all the time, that they will blow something up out of nowhere, something very, very small or something not as significant into something this big thing, while something else is brewing on the side and it's being pushed under the rug because this thing's happening, even though it doesn't really matter much, trying to cover up this thing. So it's across the board globally. So I'm not gonna say it's a Korean specific, but
also gave JTBC an interview, and then Hee-jin responded.
Wait, sorry, I'm sorry.
She also gave JTBC an interview, and then Hee-jin responded, and then she responded. So we're going to go through the major points, but first let's talk about the initial statement of the employee. She said that the executive was constantly critical of her and other team members, issuing unreasonable work demands even outside of work hours, holidays, weekends, and then when she responded on a Saturday, she actually got scolded for causing confusion. Additionally, during one of the meetings that they had, the executive actually said derogatory and sexist terms, and I quote, "It's better having a young woman around than two men eating together." Unfortunately, she said that Hybe's investigation concluded that it is very hard for them to prove that sexual harassment happened to the extent that they can punish the executive. But they acknowledged that the executive's behavior was unacceptable and recommended that Hee-jin issue a stern warning. The employee finds the stern warning too lenient, but she said that since she was leaving the company anyway, she decided to let it go. Nonetheless, she did text Hee-jin after just to air her side of the story. She called out Hee-jin for lying. So Dispatch published some of Hee-jin's Kakao Talk messages, and it contained insults, curses, and Dispatch claimed that this was referring to the employee. Hee-jin claimed that it was not referring to the employee. The employee said, "No, that was about me. Why are you denying it? Why are you lying?"
So the insults about herself, I'm so confused. So there are insults in the Kakao conversation between Hee-jin and someone else, I don't know who, with the lady, and the insult is not towards the lady but towards herself. So she's insulting herself in Kakao Talk. I don't get it.
She also called out Hee-jin for doing the exact same thing she is criticizing Hybe for, which is publishing Kakao Talk messages without consent. So several weeks ago, Hee-jin initially talked about the sexual harassment, claiming that everything was resolved and that the employee was just acting out because she got a bad review. And in her statement, she also included some Kakao Talk messages between her and the employee. Now, she's questioning why Hee-jin did that when she did not consent for her Kakao Talk messages to be published. She also said that Hee-jin lied about February 15, claiming that they didn't have any work during that day. In fact, they were working. The point that she sort of lost all hope was when Hee-jin started manipulating and revealing all of these Kakao Talk messages without her consent. Now, she directly addressed Hee-jin, saying that, "Can you really say you were neutral and that you were fair when in fact you gave the executive a copy of my statements and even coached the executive to get his own lawyer to sue me, and that you continuously painted the employee's complaints to be a retaliatory complaint because she didn't like the review." She is asking Hee-jin, "Can you honestly say you were objective?" Now, she also said that you called me names, it should be on your screen right now. I can't say it. I might get banned. Now, after this one, Hee-jin responded. Hee-jin said that
what?
Names, it should be on your screen right now. I can't say it. I might get banned.
Oh my God, really?
And now, after this one, Hee-jin responded. Hee-jin said that the employee is not a new employee. She's actually an experienced one, 7 years of work experience, and she got paid the most. She had the base salary of 130 million won, which is about $100,000 annually. And that was the highest among Ador employees. However, Min Hee-jin said that this employee is actually incompetent and many other team members complained about her. Now, she really wanted to help out. So when Executive A came on board, she decided she was going to put the employee under Executive A to try and see if they would jive together, if it's going to work, and if she can salvage the employee. She also clarified some of the details on the report or the statement that the employee issued. She said that the meeting at the restaurant between the employee, the executive, and advertiser, there was no alcohol as opposed to what the employee.
I don't believe a word of this, okay? There is no meeting, no dinner, no meal, no Korean meeting, dinner, meal without alcohol. That is a possibility. Okay, now I'm not saying that they're all alcoholic. It's just the culture that you have alcohol with your meals. That is just my understanding of Korean culture. So I don't believe a word of that.
He was implying. Also, Min Hee-jin said that they did not understand she was refusing to go to the meeting. She did say something like, it would be better if I'm not there. She said something like that. But the executive interpreted that to be a word of caution because of her bad performance review. They feel like she was warning them that she might not be fit for this meeting, but they did not take her statement to be a refusal. The executive also denied ever using the words young female, and I guess Min Hee-jin believed him. She said that there is no reason for her
it's the same dude. Okay.
To favor the executive or the employee. Now, just for context, this executive was revealed to be the same person who has been planning the takeover of Ador. So this is the same executive who has been texting or sending messages, KakaoTalk messages, to and fro Min Hee-jin. Now, Min Hee-jin said that it seems particularly suspicious that just as when HYBE is facing intense media scrutiny over various issues, B suddenly appeared, targeting her. And she said that all she did was mediate. Now, the employee is asking Min Hee-jin for public apology. It feels highly questionable. She said that right after she learned about the statement about the Instagram story, she actually tried contacting the employee. The employee insisted that she manipulated the KakaoTalk messages, and Min Hee-jin insisted she didn't. But the employee refused to give her a copy, Min Hee-jin, a copy of the KakaoTalk messages that she had. Now, after that, Min Hee-jin learned that JTBC actually interviewed the story and requested her position. Shortly after, Sports Today published an article claiming that the alleged sexual harassment cover-up for Executive A is indeed related to the hostile takeover. Now, she's saying that the reporter who wrote the story has history of writing stories against her. Even now, she said that she remains under pressure for dismissal and that she thinks that this is all part of the grand scheme to try and take her out of her position. Her final thoughts, and I quote, I ask again, how will you explain the false information in B's sexual harassment report? The disciplinary action against Executive A was decided by HYBE. So why are you targeting me through the media instead of addressing the issue with HYBE, which bears primary responsibility? Furthermore, instead of criticizing those who illegally leaked documents to Dispatch, why are you using this case to accuse me? Min Hee-jin, essentially is pointing out that the employee actually lied on her report about Executive A's sexual harassment. Now, she also insisted that it was her decision to grant the employee the salary that she was asking for, and she was the highest paying employee in HYBE. If Min Hee-jin is saying that if she was really discriminating against women, then she wouldn't grant the employee the salary.
Wait a second. Is this employee okay? I thought the employee is the employee of Ador. Then why is on the HYBE coming into place? Because I know HYBE owns Ador, but it will be the decision of the Ador executive on the salary scale of the employee, not HYBE. So she is the one not Hybe technically deciding on the pay. I'm not sure. I'm confused.
That she wanted. So she's saying that this is just based on the performance, the poor performance that she had.
So if she's the highest paid employee, how can she have poor performance? That means that you, as an employer, did not review accordingly and provide appropriate reward for the level of work.
Now, after that, the employee responded. And she insisted that Min Hee-jin, in her very, very long statement, did not answer her critical questions. First question, did she coach the executive to curse behind her back? Second question, did Min Hee-jin fail to stay neutral and interrupt by stating the executive was actually innocent? Third question, did Min Hee-jin distort facts and disclose her Kakao Talk messages without her consent? She also repeated some of the claims or statements of Min Hee-jin and gave her side of the story. First claim by Min Hee-jin. The employee's salary is 130 million Korean won, which is about $100,000. That is too high, so she cut it down by 40%. The employee said that is illegal. You're not supposed to disclose my salary without my consent. Second, the employee didn't work well. The employee said that outside of Executive A, everyone she worked with actually rated her highly and that they had recommendations and she had it on record. Next claim by Min Hee-jin. Her report seems fake and scary. The employee said the executive already acknowledged his mistakes. It is not fake because the executive himself acknowledged his mistake. Next claim by Min Hee-jin, next question, are you from Hybe? And her answer is simply no. She also enumerated the reasons.
She's not from Hybe, but Executive A was from Hybe.
She's angry because Min Hee-jin swore at her, because she couldn't forgive the executive, because they interrupted the investigation, failed to stay neutral, and protected only the executive. And last, because they did all of those things behind her back and called her the B word and she never received an apology. I am not surprised that Min Hee-jin thinks Hybe is behind the employee. I think that was to be expected, but it doesn't change.
Hybe is a big bad wolf in her eyes, while she is a wicked witch. So which one is worse?
The fact that this is something very important and must be dealt with because someone got hurt. It doesn't matter which side you're on, whether you believe Min Hee-jin and the executive or the employee, someone actually got hurt. Also, it's common knowledge that the corporate culture in South Korea is really very stressful.
Yes.
And in fact, I have a friend who's supposed to come on the show, but she got pregnant. And she was supposed to talk about the stressful corporate culture in South Korea. And she feels, so I think, given what we know of how stressful the corporate culture is, I think there is some truth to what the employee is saying. Now, the question is it stressful that is acceptable to is this the level of stress that is acceptable in the corporate culture of Korea, or is this stressful that is even way beyond what is accepted in the already stressful corporate culture of Korea? That's just a question that we need to answer. But I think dealing with this will help push some regulatory changes, and then eventually, although it might take a long time, it's going to cascade down to the actual corporate world of South Korea. So I think this is really important to be talked about. The other thing is learning. A company, once it starts growing, goes through a 7-year cycle where you experience almost everything, and once you survive all of those things, you're probably going to stay afloat. You're going to experience employee betrayal, holes in your processes, super high highs, super low lows. You will determine what is the biggest weakness of your products or your services or your company. But once you iron everything out, you're probably going to survive for a really long time. But if we focus on this and really learn from it, we can help other entrepreneurs in their venture once they start establishing their own corporate culture. Because I do think that the root of all of this is the difference in corporate culture. Hee-jin is the type of person where she feels she must head the company, that she should be the center of the company, and Hybe doesn't seem to operate that way. So that I think is the root of this, and then it branched out into things that are worse. But the sooner this gets resolved, the better it is for the artists, and that's why I think people should stop deflecting the attention to other menial things, other useless things, and actually focus on this, because this is more important. As I've said, regardless of who you're siding with, somebody got hurt. Whether you're siding with Hee-jin in the executive or the employee, someone already got hurt. So let's give more attention to things and issues and problems where there are evidently people that are getting damaged. The sooner this gets resolved, the better it is for all the artists and employees of Hybe, and there's a lot of that. And also, Hybe has the capacity and the propensity and the tendency to actually, and the potential to actually make it bigger in the international music scene, and that will be better for the whole of Asia in general. So I hope this gets resolved. We will stay on top of it, and I'll keep you updated as soon as I get my hands on any kind of news. If you have your 2 cents, if you want to provide some clarifications, let me know in the comment section below. You can say whatever it is that you want to say, just please do so respectfully. Please like, subscribe, and hit that notification button. And also share the video if you can. Follow me on Patreon. I do have a free tier if you don't want to pay yet. You just want to test the waters. Also, please follow me on X or on Twitter and on Instagram. Thank you.
Okay, so that was blackmail. Initially it was blackmail, and then you turned to Hee-jin. So my brain is in the mush. So the blackmail was that the reporter indicate that Suga need to go through what they call the photo line, or else whatever he say, whatever the apologies that he provided was not sincere, whatever that means. And then it switched to that people are using Yoongi's story to cover up or to overshadow the other story about sexual harassment. And I'm a little confused about the sexual harassment case, because other than the Kakao talk of that, the language that was used, and I'm not sure exactly what is the sexual abuse. I think there might be abuse of workplace abuse. The safety, maybe it's the safety of the workplace. Whatever they exactly mentioned, something about rather having a young woman. I'm not sure exactly what I mean. I might have to go back to read it again, but from the limited K-drama I've seen, it's the Korean corporate culture that they tend to belittle women and women's opinion and women's contribution. And I know there's a hierarchy, right? The age and the position hierarchy. So if I'm the boss, you should not talk back to me, something like that, and I get to abuse you physically or mentally, something like that, because that's how I see it in the K-drama. Is it right? No, of course not. It's not right for any country's corporate culture. Unfortunately, it is what it is. Sometimes in Asia, sometimes you have to suck it up when you work there. But I know someone get hurt. The lady got hurt, or whoever you believe. If Hee-jin is in the right, then she got hurt. Whatever it is. At the end of the day, in my book, BTS got hurt. Suga got hurt. Regardless of what it is, it's a whole big mess over there, and that's one of the reasons I have not been keeping up with the Hee-jin situation, because there's just so much he say she say, and I've decided not to put too much attention on that. But I'll wait for other people to sort it out for me, and hopefully there will be some official statements from Hybe, from the police, from the court, whatever, the more of the official statement other than the the Twitters and stuff like that. But so that was that. So I thought there would be something bigger than the photo line, and I wasn't sure exactly what blackmail was all about, but it didn't seem like blackmail. So I guess it's just unethical behavior of the reporter, or if you call that reporters. So yeah, I am just mumbling I don't know exactly what I'm talking about, but until next time, have a wonderful day. Bye.